It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Every word you speak carries weight in a battlefield invisible to most. A field where alliances form, reputations rise or fall, and subtle currents of influence decide outcomes long before any argument begins. Conversations are not mere exchanges, they are maneuvers, skirmishes where thoughtless chatter can betray your position, and silence can serve as both shield and spear. The enemy is not the person across the table, but the uncontrolled noise around you, the gossip, the impulsive retorts, the unmeasured reactions that scatter your power before it ever takes root. To command these spaces, you must recognize every interaction as a micro-battle demanding awareness, discipline, and strategic restraint. Imagine the room as a chessboard, each participant a piece with predictable patterns, each statement a move that can strengthen or weaken your position. The invisible battlefield is everywhere, at the office meeting where whispers circulate faster than facts, in friend groups where opinions mask ambition, online where commentary spreads like wildfire. Observe without haste. Watch gestures, subtle inflections and timing. Your calm attention becomes a form of presence that communicates authority more profoundly than volume ever could. Resist the urge to fill pauses. The pause itself is a weapon, a calculated pressure that forces opponents to reveal intentions, exposing weaknesses without a single spoken line. The enemy is noise, not ideas. Gossip, impulsive reactions, and the chatter of untrained minds are tools wielded unconsciously by others to manipulate, distract, or destabilize. To recognize this is the first step toward mastery. Silence is not absence, but a lens. Through quiet observation, patterns emerge, alliances clarify, and hidden motives surface. You learn when to step in with precision and when to allow the current to run its course, letting others reveal themselves while you remain unshaken. Weak, reacting to every comment. Strong, calculating your interventions, letting your presence speak louder than words. Weak, arguing to prove correctness. Strong, shifting the conversation subtly to expose assumptions. Those who master silence become unseen architects of outcomes. Observe, plan, and act with deliberate intention. Speak when it aligns with strategic advantage. Otherwise, wield the restraint itself as influence. Even a single well-timed nod, a steady gaze, or a composed smile can redirect energy, redirect the narrative, and command attention. Consider a colleague challenging a proposal. Instead of a defensive rebuttal, you pause, let the tension settle, and allow the misstep to reveal itself naturally, then respond with calm authority. Every gesture, every silence, is a move on the social battlefield. The silent warrior's advantage is the accumulation of perception, timing, and restraint. Each word saved is energy preserved. Each pause observed is intelligence gained. The battlefield rewards those who measure, anticipate, and act with precision. Your influence becomes a force field. Others adjust unconsciously, aligning with your presence without coercion. Silence signals mastery, calm confidence, and unshakable command, turning ordinary interactions into arenas where your intellect sets the terms and your composure dictates the outcome. Command your words as a general commands troops. Anticipate reactions, measure impact, and preserve strength. Recognize the spaces where silence strikes harder than argument, and move with the patience of a predator waiting for the right moment. The unseen victories in conversation accumulate, building authority that cannot be challenged openly. Let every interaction become a testament to calculated restraint. Master observation. Measure intention. Strike only when it consolidates your advantage. Every pause is a declaration, every glance a strategic deployment. Silence is not passivity, it is the instrument of control. the quiet throne from which influence radiates. Observe, wait, and act with precision. Shape minds without uttering a word, letting your presence and patience define the battlefield. The invisible currents you command in stillness often achieve more than words ever could. Enter every conversation aware, deliberate, and calm. Recognize the stakes, respect the agency of all participants, and wield your quiet authority with ethical precision. Every exchange is a test of mental discipline, every restraint a victory of strategy over impulse. Command through silence. Observe without haste. Shape the battlefield before it is contested. Control the currents others fail to notice. Master this, and the war of minds becomes your domain. Silence wins the unseen battle. Your mind is the throne from which every action, word, and influence must emanate. To rule externally, you must first command internally. Every thought, impulse, and fleeting reaction is a subject awaiting your authority. Any negligence allows rivals to seize advantage before you even engage. Consider your consciousness a fortified citadel, walls constructed of discipline, observation, and measured judgment. Within this citadel, strategy is the crown, and without it, every external maneuver becomes vulnerable to failure. Strengthen your seat of strategy by anticipating manipulations before they occur. When a colleague challenges your suggestion or a friend disputes your position, pause deliberately, analyze the underlying intent, note the subtle cues, and respond only when clarity grants you tactical leverage. Weak, reacting immediately to deflect discomfort. Strong, calculating your intervention, letting composure dictate outcome. Guarding the crown requires vigilance against your own impulses. Emotional reactions, unchecked irritation, or defensive retorts serve as cracks in the fortress that others can exploit. Recognize these vulnerabilities in yourself as clearly as you would assess a rival's flank. Thoughtless reactions betray intentions, signaling uncertainty or weakness to anyone attuned to social dynamics. Use self-questioning as a counsel within your inner court. Does this reaction serve my purpose? Will this word advance my position? This disciplined consultation enables you to weigh silence as heavily as speech, considering each move as if playing on a mental chessboard where every interaction carries consequences. Micro example: during a meeting, a peer interrupts with a dismissive comment. Instead of snapping, you nod, observe, and redirect the discussion, letting the disruption undermine itself while your authority remains intact. Develop inner advisors through consistent reflection. Consider the mind as a council chamber where reason, foresight, and ethical restraint are deliberate before action. Each advisor represents a principle, strategy, observation, and patience. Engage them to assess potential conversational moves and social interactions. Let your decisions emerge from this deliberation, ensuring that every word and gesture consolidates influence rather than dissipates it. Maintain clarity by separating instinct from intention. Instincts are often reactive, while disciplined thought ensures outcomes align with long-term goals. Each day, review interactions to identify lapses in composure or unnecessary disclosures. Strengthen awareness, reinforce boundaries, and solidify the throne of your mind. Tactical imperatives: anticipate manipulations, measure every response, and reserve speech for decisive impact. Observe continuously, interpret cues precisely, and act only with strategic intent. Silence is not absence, but a tool, a weapon wielded through control of your internal court. Let restraint command respect. Let clarity guide authority, and let observation shape outcomes unseen. The inner throne is unconquerable when vigilance, discipline, and deliberate reasoning govern every moment. Command yourself, command the world. Every day begins as a battlefield. and the first hour determines the flow of every engagement that follows. The dawn is not a quiet moment, but the front line where your mental and emotional ammunition is tested. To dominate conversations and social exchanges later, you must first secure victory over yourself. Your morning rituals are the armory that sharpens your mind, fortifies your attention, and prepares you to anticipate moves before they are made. Begin with deliberate actions that awaken focus and intention. Hydrate, move, and center yourself. These are not trivial routines. They are drills that condition your mind to recognize patterns, read subtle cues, and respond with precision rather than impulse. Each repeated morning act compounds, creating a foundation from which every word, glance, and decision carries authority. Securing the first move advantage is essential. Just as a general surveys the terrain before committing troops, you must map your day mentally before engaging. Review meetings, communications, and potential conflicts. Consider the people you will interact with, their likely stances, and their habitual reactions. By predicting the day's dynamics, you avoid being reactive. You act with foresight, controlling outcomes before they arise. Weak, diving into tasks without assessment. Strong, surveying, planning, and allocating energy where it exerts maximum influence. Even a small strategic adjustment, choosing when to speak in a morning meeting, can establish dominance, steering the group toward your vision without confrontation. Energy is your most valuable ammunition. Mental fatigue erodes judgment and diminishes influence. Preserve it through intentional pacing, nourishment, and rest. Recognize that cognitive depletion is a vulnerability your environment will exploit unconsciously. A fatigued mind misreads cues, responds emotionally, and forfeits control. Schedule mentally demanding tasks early and avoid unnecessary distractions that scatter focus. Recharge through brief pauses, controlled breathing, or reflective moments. By treating energy as finite and strategically deployable, you maintain the capacity to observe, anticipate, and act decisively when influence matters most. Morning discipline establishes momentum that cascades throughout every interaction. Approach each encounter as a tactical engagement. Observe, assess, and deploy responses calibrated to your objectives. Let each micro-decision, from the tone you use in a chat to the timing of a message, reflect the clarity cultivated at the start of the day. Even subtle disagreements can be managed with calm leadership. If a co-worker challenges your plan, pause, acknowledge their position, and respond with measured clarity, redirecting the conversation without tension. Each act of restraint is a small victory, reinforcing your presence and authority. Command your dawn, and the day follows your strategy. Establish rituals that sharpen your mind, anticipate conflicts before they arise, and preserve energy to maintain unshakable influence. Recognize that the morning sets the battlefield. Mastery here ensures every conversation, every negotiation, and every subtle interaction falls within your control. Treat your mental state as a fortified position, your focus as strategic artillery, and your preparation as preemptive maneuvers that secure advantage before engagement. Act with discipline, move with intent, and let no day begin without victory. Win the dawn, win the day. Silence is not absence, it is the sharpest weapon in the battlefield of minds. Every pause, every measured breath carries weight, shaping the room and the perceptions of those around you. Conversations are engagements where words are both sword and shield, yet the true power often lies in restraint. To weaponize stillness is to create tension that commands attention, forcing others to reveal intentions they might otherwise conceal. Pause deliberately. Let your stillness occupy the space, compelling observation while conserving your energy for decisive action. Weak, filling every silence with words. Strong, holding the pause, letting others expose themselves through their reactions. The pause is power. A well-timed moment of quiet unsettles opponents, interrupting habitual speech patterns and creating space for strategic advantage. When someone pushes aggressively or interrupts, resist reflexive response. Instead, breathe, observe, and allow the silence to amplify their own uncertainty. This is not passive, it is an offensive deployment of restraint. Each pause functions like a calculated strike, shaping perception and signaling authority without overt confrontation. By refusing to fill the void, you force others to navigate the uncertainty you create, revealing priorities, weaknesses, and hidden motives. Observation carries weight equal to words. Watch without judgment, noting gestures, tone, and subtle reactions. These details become intelligence, informing your next move. The unspoken communicates far more than what is said aloud. When a colleague criticizes or challenges an idea, note the hesitation in their voice, the shifts in posture, the subtle cues that betray intention. Use this intelligence to guide your responses, ensuring that every statement consolidates influence and maintains control over the narrative. Micro example: a teammate disputes a proposed plan. You remain silent, assessing their motives, then respond with a concise restatement that reframes the conversation in terms of shared objectives, neutralizing tension while asserting calm authority. Mastering silence allows invisible command. Your restraint becomes a force that others respond to unconsciously. Strategic quiet lets you shape the narrative without overt engagement, directing attention and guiding outcomes subtly. Influence achieved without words is durable. It cannot be contested directly because it is perceived as natural or self-evident. By remaining observant, composed and deliberate, you allow the room to reveal itself while your authority solidifies. Weak, attempting to dominate every exchange verbally. Strong, steering the conversation through presence, timing and measured interventions. Tactical imperatives: pause to disrupt expectation. Observe to gather intelligence. Act only when it consolidates advantage. Treat each interaction as a terrain to be raided, each silence as a lever of control. Enter every engagement as a strategist, letting restraint dictate rhythm and influence. Presence becomes the weapon, attention the ammunition, and silence the strike. Let your quiet command the battlefield, shaping outcomes unseen. Stillness strikes with unseen force. Influence is fragile, and the battlefield of conversation rewards decisiveness. Toxic chatter, gossip, and manipulative voices can erode authority if left unchecked. Identify these threats quickly, for hesitation allows them to gain ground and poison your strategic position. Spotting the parasites requires vigilance. Observe patterns of behavior where individuals leverage conversations to control, destabilize, or spread misinformation. Their intent often hides behind charm or casual remarks, but subtle cues betray purpose. Pay attention to repetition, opportunistic interruptions, and the subtle undermining of others. Awareness is your first weapon. Recognize the threat before it infiltrates your circle. Neutralizing threats without noise is an exercise in precision. Open confrontation is rarely necessary. Instead, redirect focus, reframe dialogue, or subtly shift attention away from destructive narratives. By intervening strategically, you maintain authority without escalating conflict. Weak, addressing every gossiping comment publicly. Strong, guiding the conversation in a direction that preserves your influence while letting the misstep expose itself. Even in small disagreements, such as a co-worker spreading a misleading interpretation of a project, a calm clarification or concise restatement neutralizes the threat while maintaining composure. Let your interventions be surgical, preserving momentum and respect. Sacred circle protection ensures your allies remain aligned and loyal. Toxic narratives that infiltrate your inner circle destabilize relationships and erode trust. Act proactively to remove these threads before they spread. This is not about control over others. It is about safeguarding integrity and ensuring collective strength. Identify potential leaks, reinforce accurate understanding, and shield those aligned with your vision from distraction or deceit. Strategic boundary setting communicates authority and demonstrates leadership grounded in discernment and foresight. Your circle remains resilient when guided by clarity and protected from manipulative undercurrents. Tactical imperatives: observe for subtle manipulations, act with precision, and protect your environment from corrosive influence. Remove threats decisively but discreetly, preserving cohesion and respect. Every interaction is an opportunity to assert authority through restraint and strategy, ensuring your influence endures. Let your presence be both shield and sword, safeguarding allies while neutralizing disruption. The battlefield favors those who eliminate weakness without spectacle, maintaining dominance while conserving energy for strategic engagements. Control the threads before they unravel the web. Cut the weak, preserve the strong. Your presence is a weapon more potent than any argument. Every gesture, posture, and glance communicates authority before a single word is spoken. In the battlefield of conversation, mastery of presence allows you to control attention, shape perception, and dominate interactions with subtle precision. Nonverbal chess is the art of influencing without speaking. A steady gaze signals confidence, a deliberate pause conveys control, and measured movement communicates strategic intent. Observe how others respond to your posture and expressions, adjusting to reinforce your dominance while remaining calm and composed. Weak: over-explaining to assert authority. Strong: letting presence alone establish the hierarchy of attention. The silent authority emerges from restraint and self-possession, speaking less, moving deliberately, and exuding calm confidence communicates power more convincingly than debate or argument. Restrain the urge to fill pauses or justify decisions unnecessarily. Confidence does not require volume, it requires consistency in presence and decisiveness in action. Even subtle moments, such as entering a room or listening to differing opinions, can communicate dominance. By controlling your reactions, you direct the energy of the group and guide perception without overt confrontation. Micro-example: during a team disagreement, rather than interrupting, you maintain a composed stance, nod thoughtfully, and respond with concise direction, redirecting the group toward productive action while asserting authority. Let your reputation speak before you do. The echo of power is cumulative. Past displays of competence, composure, and strategic insight create a presence that precedes your entry. Others respond to the expectation of authority long before engagement begins. Cultivate consistency in how you appear, act, and follow through. Every interaction, even outside high-stakes scenarios, reinforces the perception of control. Silence magnifies this effect. Absence from trivial disputes preserves energy and enhances respect. Weak: asserting authority constantly through words. Strong: allowing your history of mastery to command attention and influence perception. Tactical imperatives: project authority through posture, gaze, and deliberate movement. Restrain speech to moments of strategic impact. Maintain consistency in presence to reinforce reputation. Treat every social environment as a terrain to navigate with non-verbal strategy. Every encounter as a move on the chessboard of influence. Command attention through presence. Let restraint convey power and allow your reputation to lead before your words arrive. Influence is not always spoken. It is observed, felt, and recognized. Enter every space as the predator, patient, deliberate, and unshakable. Let presence speak, let silence dominate. Every conversation is a battlefield, and you are the unseen predator stalking your target. Preparation is the silent work of influence, understanding the terrain, anticipating reactions, and determining the precise outcome you intend. Targeted influence begins with clarity. Know exactly what result you seek before a word is uttered. Every phrase, pause, and gesture is a tactical maneuver designed to shape perception and guide decisions. Weak. Speaking without direction, letting words drift. Strong. Aligning every action with a predetermined objective, ensuring maximum impact. Treat your intentions as a mission. Every interaction a calculated engagement where subtlety outweighs volume. Timing the strike is critical. Patience is not passivity, it is strategic positioning. Observe, assess, and wait until conditions favor decisive action. Speak or act only when leverage is at its peak, when hesitation or misstep by others provides the opportunity to advance your position. The predator does not rush, it waits for the precise instant when resistance is weakest. Micro example. A colleague challenges a proposal aggressively, but rather than countering immediately, you listen, let the argument expose itself, and respond with a concise, authoritative statement that redirects the outcome in your favor. Timing transforms restraint into power. Invisible victory is the mark of mastery. Influence achieved subtly is more lasting than any overt display of force. When others believe their choices are self-determined, they are most receptive to guidance, and your authority embeds itself without resistance. Avoid overt confrontation unless strategically necessary. Let outcomes appear organic, directed by circumstances that you have quietly aligned. Each move is deliberate, each silence calculated, ensuring your presence exerts impact even when unseen. Tactical imperatives. Define your objective, observe patiently, strike decisively, treat every interaction as a chessboard, where precision, patience, and subtlety determine outcome. Influence quietly, act deliberately, and ensure victory is both effective and enduring. Let timing, observation, and calculated action guide your engagement, making your power invisible yet undeniable. Every conversation can become a conquest if approached with discipline and strategy. Strike unseen, prevail decisively. Desire and ego are weapons as sharp as any blade when wielded with precision. Human nature responds to recognition, to the affirmation that their presence and ideas matter. Feeding the wolf is the strategic act of giving just enough attention, praise or acknowledgement to guide behavior without revealing your hand. Playing to vanity involves subtle compliments and recognition that appeal to ambition, taste, or pride, shaping focus and allegiance without overt manipulation. Weak, indiscriminate praise that breeds complacency. Strong, deliberate acknowledgement that directs energy and attention toward your objectives. Observe reactions carefully, measure response before offering further reinforcement. Controlled reward creates the illusion of autonomy. Let individuals feel their choices and contributions emerge from their own will, while quietly steering them along paths that serve the broader strategy. By providing small victories, acknowledgement, or privileges at key moments, you cultivate loyalty and influence without triggering resistance or awareness. Timing and context are essential. Rewards are most effective when they reinforce desired behavior and encourage initiative aligned with strategic goals. Micro example, a colleague seeks approval for a project idea. You acknowledge the ingenuity of their approach without overshadowing the contribution of the team, subtly guiding them to adopt practices that enhance collective success. Avoid overfeeding. Excessive praise, indulgence, or attention breeds predictability, reduces respect, and weakens the subtle influence you cultivate. Restraint maintains intrigue and authority, ensuring that interactions retain weight and significance. By calibrating reinforcement carefully, you maintain control of perception and preserve the potency of your presence. Each acknowledgement becomes a calculated tool, a nudge that directs without coercion, a spark that encourages initiative while reinforcing strategic alignment. Human desire is responsive, but unchecked indulgence dulls effectiveness. Untactical imperatives appeal to ego and ambition selectively, reward behavior strategically, and practice restraint to preserve authority. Treat every interaction as terrain where subtle reinforcement shapes outcome, where perception and desire are guides rather than overt levers of control. Influence grows strongest when others believe they are acting independently, while your quiet strategy shapes results. Feed the wolf with precision, timing, and restraint, and watch influence expand invisibly, yet unmistakably. Feed with strategy, command through desire. Life is a chessboard, and every conversation is a move that can shift power, perception, and influence. To dominate, you must anticipate patterns, recognize predictable reactions, and position yourself to control outcomes subtly. Pattern recognition is your foundation. Observe habits, speech rhythms, and emotional triggers. Each predictable behavior is an exploitable space, a square where your influence can land with precision. Weak, reacting impulsively to words without foresight. Strong, mapping likely responses in advance, using knowledge of tendencies to shape the flow strategically. Sacrifice and gain define the terrain. Not every battle requires confrontation. Small concessions can secure larger victories. Each interaction is a piece on the board, with a distinct purpose. Allow minor losses in perception or concession in discussion if they lead to broader influence or strategic advantage. Micro example: in a team meeting, you allow a colleague to take credit for a minor suggestion while subtly positioning your larger idea to succeed, ensuring long-term respect and authority. Understanding which pieces to advance, retreat, or protect transforms interactions into orchestrated campaigns. Checkmate strategy is the culmination of foresight and maneuvering. Outcomes are orchestrated subtly, guiding others to conclusions you intend without overt control. The true victor in conversation is one whose influence is invisible, yet decisive. Every move, every pause, every acknowledgement is part of a greater design, ensuring that even when others resist, the board is aligned in your favor. Avoid overt confrontation unless necessary. Instead, manipulate the flow with precision, tactical imperatives. Study the board, predict moves, and position yourself for decisive influence. Treat conversations as campaigns where patience, observation, and calculated action determine victory. Anticipate, position, conquer. Discipline your mind as a general fortifies a fortress, knowing that every weakness exposed can be exploited by rivals. Daily reflection is the foundation of mental armor. Review conversations, analyze reactions, and identify moments where composure wavered. Each observation is intelligence gathered. Each lesson integrated strengthens your strategic resilience. Weak, ignoring emotional lapses. Strong, scrutinize every interaction to fortify defenses, converting mistakes into tactical advantage. Emotional shielding transforms impulsive reactions into controlled strategy. When provoked, resist the instinct to respond immediately. Observe, assess, and let restraint dictate action. Micro example: a colleague attempts to bait you into conflict during a meeting. You maintain calm, respond only with measured acknowledgement, and redirect attention to your intended point, neutralizing disruption without confrontation. This deliberate self-control signals authority and unshakable presence, deterring future attempts to manipulate. Unyielding focus is the keystone of influence. Train concentration daily, prioritizing clarity and mental endurance. Silence distractions, maintain awareness of your goals, and execute decisions with precision. Each moment of sustained attention compounds power. The unobserved mind is vulnerable, while the disciplined mind becomes a constant, silent force, shaping outcomes. Tactical imperatives: reflect daily, neutralize provocations, cultivate unwavering focus. Your mental armor is built one conscious decision at a time, impervious to manipulation, gossip, and emotional turbulence. Forge, endure, dominate. Power manifests in silence. Your presence alone must command attention, respect, and subtle fear, like a throne unseen yet unassailable. The invisible crown is the first principle. Do not advertise authority. Conceal your strength so rivals cannot identify a target. Let your composure and measured actions radiate control, leaving adversaries uncertain and cautious. Weak boast of influence. Strong demonstrate influence through calm decisiveness that requires no explanation or display. Master the game by controlling narratives without exposure. Guide conversations with precision, allowing others to believe they act freely while the trajectory aligns with your strategy. Each word, pause, or glance is a chess move. Each subtle correction of dialogue, a repositioning of power. Micro example. In a meeting, a peer challenges your proposal. You listen silently, then redirect discussion to evidence, subtly steering agreement without overt confrontation. This leaves no trace of manipulation yet asserts dominance effortlessly. The silent throne embodies internalized power. Your influence is invisible yet undeniable, like a predator whose presence shapes the environment before it strikes. Guard your strategies and intentions. The unseen mind cannot be contested. Tactical imperatives: conceal authority, control narratives quietly, maintain internalized dominance. Let silence amplify your reputation. Restraint amplify respect, and subtlety ensure your command is unchallenged. Your throne is not in view but in effect. Rule without being seen. Every conversation is a battlefield, every glance a probe, every silence a sword. You are now the silent emperor, moving unseen through social landscapes, commanding without utterance, shaping minds without a single declaration. Synthesis of principles is your armor. The rituals of readiness sharpen your perception. The silent strike trains your patience, and the mask of command projects authority without display. Each tactic functions in unison, an orchestration of influence where every word, pause, and gesture is premeditated. Weak, react instinctively. Strong, anticipate, position, and execute with calculated restraint, ensuring outcomes bend subtly to your will. Failure is the cost of haste. Those who speak impulsively reveal weakness. They are devoured by gossip, manipulated by subtle provocations, and drift into social invisibility. A misjudged comment can unravel influence, erode trust, and invite betrayal. Observe the micro example. A colleague attempts to undermine your position during discussion. You respond, not with outrage, but with measured acknowledgement, redirecting focus to facts. The room follows your rhythm. The challenger's aggression dissipates, unheeded, powerless against disciplined strategy. Let this serve as a cautionary marker. Unchecked impulses are the ruin of potential power. The reward of mastery is absolute. Social landscapes bend to your silent will. Invisible crowns are worn without spectacle. Influence operates beneath notice. Conversations are chessboards. Allies and rivals alike move according to patterns you recognize, nudged imperceptibly toward outcomes that serve strategic ends. Your reputation precedes you. Your restraint amplifies respect. Your silence commands attention, tactical imperatives. Integrate every prior rule seamlessly, respond only with calculated force, and remain untouchable by emotion or reaction. Let observation guide action, patience shape timing, and subtlety secure victory. Embody the predator who waits, the strategist who sees 10 moves ahead, the throne that needs no proclamation. Your authority is internalized, omnipresent yet invisible. Social influence becomes a shadow of presence, a force that shapes environments before a word is spoken. Let every action be deliberate, every pause meaningful, every silence weighted with intent. Remember that mastery is a process, a lifelong sharpening of mental armor, where every interaction is both test and training. The silent emperor does not demand obedience. The silent emperor commands reality itself. Influence becomes natural, inevitable, and unseen, bending perception without coercion, guiding thought without force. Respect and caution arise in response to composure, strategy, and unseen strength. The culmination of rituals, observation, and calculated execution produces an untouchable mind, resilient, strategic, and sovereign. Rule without a sound. Discipline is the foundation of influence. Your battlefield is everyday life, and every interaction is a move on a vast, invisible chessboard. Begin each day as a strategist, observing, pausing, and positioning yourself before speech or action. Apply the 9 rules incrementally. Let silence sharpen perception. Let observation reveal hidden intentions, and let subtle gestures command attention. Weak, react to provocation. Strong, measure, calculate, and advance only when advantage is clear. Embodiment of authority requires more than knowledge. It demands presence. Move deliberately, speak sparingly, and respond with precision. Your posture, gaze, and tone are weapons, each signaling control without confrontation. In a team meeting, a colleague challenges your point aggressively. You nod, let the moment pass, and redirect focus to constructive solutions. Authority is not asserted through volume, but through calculated composure, turning potential conflict into an unspoken demonstration of command. Daily practice transforms tactics into instinct. Review interactions each evening, note subtle manipulations, recognize patterns of behavior, and refine your silent strategies. This ritual reinforces mental armor and converts observation into an automatic skill. Controlled recognition and measured acknowledgement cultivate respect and prevent unnecessary escalation. Let restraint be your amplifier. Silence communicates mastery more convincingly than argument ever could. Your reputation precedes you. Your actions become predictable only to those who observe closely. Like a chess master, anticipate responses, prepare contingencies, and orchestrate outcomes without drawing attention to your maneuvering. Each decision, spoken or unspoken, must advance influence without overtly exerting force. Allies follow your rhythm. Adversaries hesitate under the weight of unseen discipline. The micro-example of disagreement reinforces that composure always neutralizes volatility, transforming potential chaos into strategic opportunity. Internalize the power of silent mastery. Let every gesture, pause, and deliberate word convey confidence and clarity. Influence flows from control, restraint, and the unshakable presence of someone who commands themselves before commanding the world. Build momentum through consistency. Each practiced day, each calculated move, each restrained response compounds into authority that feels natural yet unassailable. Master yourself, master the world.